the ground is normally very wet in Ireland because it rains all the time. So they invented this stool that has a very thick round seat, about 2 inches thick, the wood of the seat. And it has only one leg, a prong, that sinks into the ground, see? And if the ground is really wet into the ground, and the wood will sit on top of the ground so that the farmer's bottom will stay dry. Well, this American couple were over in Ireland, and they rented a car, as we did often, and they were going from town to town, and they lost track of time, see. They got up one morning, and they're driving this car through the fields, and the husband says to the wife, what time is it? He says, I didn't put my watch on my wrist this morning. It must be in my bag. So she looks at her and she says, oh, I forgot mine too, she says. It must be in my bag. I don't know what time it is. So the wife says, well, why don't you stop? There's a farmer milking his cow there in the fields, and I'm sure he could give you the time. So he says, good idea. So he stopped the car and he walked down into the mud of the field, and he says, excuse me, sir, but could you tell me what time of day it is? He says, my wife and I are from America, and we've lost track of time here. This is such a magical country. It's just time doesn't seem to matter. And he says, yes, I think I could do that, he says. So he took his hand and he put it under the cow's udder, and he lifted the udder up as high as he could. And then he let the udder down, and he says, it's exactly 8 minutes past noon. He says, oh, my God, he says, this is really a magical country. He says, could you possibly tell me how you can tell time like that? He said, well, you see, we sit on this milking stool, he says, and it's been very wet, and the stool has sunk all the way into the ground. And the only way that I can see the clock in the church tower is to hold